You guys are all queens. You just not the motherfucking queen.
And hi, everybody, and I am Bree Taylor on behalf of That's So Bold. And with me today, we have an exclusive one-on-one with Ethiopia. Now, Ethiopia says that she wants to come forward and talk about a few things. Now, all these things, now just for legal purposes, we're going to say allegedly, just because, we don't want to make it seem like your story isn't valid or true. It's just for legal purposes, we're going to say allegedly. Now, Ethiopia allegedly is saying that Big Fendi, if I'm not mistaken, is your father. And it's been some issues regarding a relationship and maintaining a relationship. We want to tell you this is an open space. You can tell us as much as you feel comfortable, and we are just here to give you a platform so you can fully tell your story. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So just start from the beginning. Um, what happened?
Okay. So I was born in 94. My mother got pregnant with me in 93, late 93. She had me at 18 years old, got pregnant with me at 17 years old. So she was a young mom.
Mm-hmm.
But my mother and my alleged father's relationship was not, how would I say, a real relationship. So when she told him that she was pregnant, it was basically a search she had to do to find him. He completely disappeared after months of them hanging out, chilling together. He basically disappeared when she said that she was pregnant.
Now, these are things that she told you that would happen.
Yes, correct.
So I would imagine, like you as a girl or a little girl, or I'm not sure what age you started searching for your father, you would ask these questions, and she told you, like that's the answer she gave you as far as um straight shooter, like your dad doesn't really want to be around. Like, how did
Right.
she explain it to you?
Yeah. She basically said that when she told him that she was pregnant, he disappeared. She had to hunt him down. Back then, cell phones weren't it. So she was basically paging him. She would call his house phone. Nobody would answer. And that was that. It wasn't until maybe I was about 8 months or 9 months old and I had an allergic reaction to formula and I was in the hospital and she was paging him nonstop. And then she finally called the house phone and his mother picked up and they had a conversation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, you guys, all you guys, you were born and raised in New York, correct?
I was born and raised in New York, yes, Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Your mom used to
And
live there.
yes, my mother used to live there as well.
Okay. And
Mhm.
so, just what was the age where you felt like you started searching and started asking questions?
Okay, so I want to say around, I started asking questions when I was young because you see people get picked up by their dads, and I
Mhm.
want to say maybe around 6, 7. I could, as long as I could remember, I would ask like, where is he, and why doesn't he want to be here?
Mhm.
It wasn't until I was about 9 and 10, and technology became what it is, and I was able to be on People Finders. That's the website I used to use all the time.
Okay.
Problem with the story is that the information that I had was very limited. I had a first and last name, which is confirmed to be his first and last name. I know for sure.
Mhm.
Um, I had an age that wasn't correct. The first name that I was given wasn't spelled correctly.
Mhm.
Instead of a C at the end, I had a K at the end. So these were issues that the database can't figure out. And then he has a popular name, a popular first and last name. So it's not like you have a unique name and you could just pop up in one search. That wasn't happening. So I've been looking for him.
Okay.
I've been
So
looking
you've
for
been. So what made you? Because you've been looking for him. What made you just want to come out just on social media and make your presence really be felt? Because you have videos on TikTok where you're just saying stuff, and then you reached out to this brand and you really want to get your voice across. So why do you feel like that's the route you want to go?
um I'm tired. I'm back. All these years, we reconnected with him 3 years ago. And it's like, here it is. Now I got time because I was in school for the last 6 years, getting my degrees. Now I got time. And it's like these things are weighing heavy on my heart and I can't really say anything. I never wanted to have to go out into public and say, so and so is my dad and he's denying me. If this was handled 3 years ago the way I wanted to handle it, I tried to give him the narrative so we could get this done in private. This never
Yeah.
had to get to where it is, but he refused. There was multiple attempts on communication, FaceTime, phone calls, text messages to family members. DMs, and he will not take accountability whatsoever.
Yeah, and you're not his only child, so why do you feel like he is throwing you to the wayside, so to speak?
Wait, go back, ask that again.
I was like, you're not his only child, correct?
Oh, yes, correct. You're correct.
Yeah, okay. So why do you feel like he's treating you this way? Because he's active in his other kids' lives.
Maybe because it's been all these years and he kind of put it behind him and left it as that, hoping that I would just disappear.
Well, it's kind of hard to like say that because to be all the way honest, you guys look exactly alike.
Yeah. I know, and that is what bobbles me the most. It's just like, I don't know how you can still deny somebody and not even try to do a test so you can confirm it. You just straight denying, not even let me be like, all right, I don't believe what you're saying, but we're gonna prove that what you're saying is a lie. If you don't believe what I'm saying, then let's do a test so we can prove what I'm saying is a lie, you know? But no, you don't even want to do that. His response was, what I look like being out here just giving my DNA to anybody. What? Yeah, he said this to my aunt. He said that what he said to me is, do I look like a man that's out here not taking care of his kids? Well, apparently, because you ain't taking care of me.
Okay, let's take a step back. You said when you tried to reconnect with him, what was that process like reconnecting with him? Because I'm sure you didn't just reach out to him. You probably reached out to his mom, like you said, or his whatever other companions and counterparts that he have.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to 2018 because that's the most recent. Like, that's where how we rediscovered him again, how we reconnected with him again. So I'm gonna go back to that. So my mom was on Instagram one day, just scrolling her timeline, and somebody is making fun of him. A big celebrity is making fun of him, and my mother goes, "Oh shoot, that looks like Fendi," is what she said. That looks like Fendi. Back then he wasn't known as Big Fendi. He was just known as Fendi.
Right.
So my mother sees him and she goes, I guess she writes him, is what she told me. She's like, "Are you Fendi from Brownsville or Flatbush?" One of them. I'm not too sure what she said, and he never responded. He never opened the message whatsoever. So I'm not sure if he's seen her icon and just completely ignored it, or read the message without opening it so she can know he could, like, you know, just not open it. Because basically somebody's looking for you in that message if you're saying, "Are you so-and-so from somewhere?"
Right.
I come home. I think I was at school. This is right after my 24th birthday. I come home and my mother's like, "I think I found your father." So I'm like, "What?" "What? How?" She's like, "Instagram." I'm like, "On whose Instagram?" Like, this is a shock to me because it's been all these years and I already lost hope. This man don't want to be a part of my life. It is what it is. He's not out here looking for me. So why am I even bothering trying to search for him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it took a couple days for me to even reach out because in my mind, it's like, to me, it's kind of an embarrassing situation because it's like, why should I have to be? Because it's like, why should I have to be out here trying to look for my dad? Like, and to write you, and then you just don't know what the person is going to say in response to what I'm saying. You know, I was kind of afraid of exactly what happened, rejection. So it took me a few days. I write him on Snapchat because at this point, Snapchat is big at the time and you could see when the person opens the messages. Mm-hmm. So I write him on Snapchat because he's still doing promotions on there and everything. And I basically tell him the whole story. My story has stayed consistent for the last, I guess I want to say 27 years. It stayed consistent. Even if you watch my videos, I've repeated the story over and over. It stayed consistent, has not changed. It's the same thing I wrote him 3 years ago. I tell him the story. You know, on Snapchat, you used to see when they're looking at the message. And I see that he's looking at the message, he opens it, and then it just closed. So he basically just leaves me on scene.
And he's done that every time you reach out to him?
Oh, that's just the base part. So so yeah, we're not done. This is just getting started.
Okay.
So this is on Snapchat. Then I decide, I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. Maybe I should just write him on Instagram now. So I write him on Instagram, and then my aunt is like, actually, let me write him on Instagram too, because me and him had a conversation back in the 90s about this. And that's when he still was like, I don't want to do a DNA test back in the 90s. So my aunt decides to write him on Instagram. He doesn't respond to neither one. He leaves us on seen or read or whatever. So now at this point, I'm like, whatever. But something just tells me, just keep searching the information, because when I originally found him, the same day that my mother said, I think I found your father, I was able to pull up his whole life story on the internet. I mean, a lot of people can't unless you're really digging for something, but I was able to. I found his phone numbers, I found his previous addresses, I found everything. So I found his phone number, and a week goes by. I keep the phone number in my phone just because. I don't know. So me and my mother's having a conversation in the car, and I have the phone in my lap, and I'm like, I think I should just call him, because it's weighing on my heart to just, I want to be seen. I want to be heard. Like, it's 24 years. What do I really have to lose? We could do a test. I have no problem doing that. I'll pay for it. Like, I just want to get this out the way. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't call him, because you don't know how he's going to react.
Right.
I accidentally pressed the FaceTime button by accident, literally rings for 2 seconds. I hang up, my heart drops. He calls me right back 30 seconds later. So
he's not familiar with the number.
I don't know why he called back. I mean, in his business, I'm sure random numbers call him all the time. So you never know. You don't want to miss no money. Understandable, whatever. Right. So I don't know why he calls me. Literally, I kid you not, in the same minute he calls me back. Okay. So I pick up the phone. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him. We're staring at each other, because I want you to see your reflection. Mister, I look just like you, Papa. I look just like you.
Just like.
I look just like you. And I'm like, you know who this is? He's like, no. He shakes his head. He's like, no. I'm like, well, we've been trying to reach you. Like, we've been trying to connect with you, and you keep leaving us on read and seen. He's like, nah, I don't know who this is. So my mother's like, give me the phone. And he goes to my mother. You want to do this right now?
You heard him say that to your mom?
Yes, I heard him say this to my mother. You want to do this right now? My mother's like, what do you mean? Do I want to do this right now? He gets up, because wherever he is, this is on FaceTime, mind you. So wherever he is, I guess he don't want them to hear their conversation. Understandable. And I don't know. I don't even remember what was said. All I know is that the phone hung up, and then he called back regular phone call. He called back. Right. He's speaking to my mom. He's like, yeah, I see that you guys are trying to reach me. And then I don't hear nothing else after the conversation. Then he says, give your daughter the phone. So he's like, yeah, I see you guys are trying. This is what he says to me. Yeah, I see you guys are trying to reach me, but I'm not understanding the situation. You guys are sending side-by-side pictures in my DM, because at this point, remember, I've tried several attempts to write him Instagram, Snapchat. I'm sending him side-by-side pictures. I'm sending him the story. Like, I'm putting things in the story, if you go back to my TikTok, that only someone who's personally would know, like the type of car you drove in the 80s, like your real name. Nobody knows his real name based off of social media. Like, I'm putting things in the story so it seems more real, because I'm sure you being in this industry, there's people trying to get at you all the time, or, look for things. Right. And he goes, and I'm like, yeah, this is the story I'm telling you. It's a story that I know. Well, somebody's lying to you, because I look like a man that doesn't take care of his kids? I'm like, what?
Okay. And so, I mean, I'm not a therapist, right? But it seems like whatever issues or whatever the relationship he had with your mother, he's taking it out on you. He feels away whatever happened between them. But I personally don't think it's fair. And even though, like, you're an adult, we're like around the same age, not having your father around affects you, I would imagine.
You've imagined correctly. It does affect the woman not having their father figure in their life whatsoever, especially when you're trying to. I'm at the age now where it's not like it's a baby mother coming to you for her little child, right? It's a grown woman. I'm a grown woman at this point. I don't need nothing from you. I'm looking for closure. I just want answers. Why can't I have the answers? What's wrong with just getting answers?
Yeah. So have you reached out to at least your siblings?
Wait, I'm not done. Wait. It's more tea. The tea is hot and piping. It's more tea. Okay. So after this conversation, he says that he's gonna hang up. He's like, I'm gonna call you back, because my mother's calling me. I'm like, all right, whatever. He never calls me back. Like, an hour goes by. I'm waiting for him to call me back. He never does. So at this point, I'm talking to my mother. I call my aunt and my grandmother, which are the three people that I talk to all the time about my life situations. They've been here from the beginning. They know the story better than I do, I feel, because they were here from I was a baby to now. So they know, they spoke to him. They know what this is about. And I'm telling my aunt, like, this, I'm over it at this point. Several attempts. He doesn't want to acknowledge me whatsoever. He doesn't even want to do a DNA test. It's his whole thing. What I look like being out here just giving my DNA. So I'm over it. So my aunt goes, you know what? No, we're not doing that again, because we've been doing that. We've been doing that. 24 years has gone by and nothing has happened. We've been looking for him, can't find him. We've left him alone. My aunt was like, I'm calling him. She calls him on FaceTime. He's like basically saying, not you FaceTiming me. And my aunt is like, what do you mean? Like, he goes, well, you just calling me and I don't know you. You calling me on FaceTime and I don't know you. My aunt was like, I do know you. We've had a conversation 20 odd years ago. He's like, I don't recall that. So now he's playing like he got amnesia.
Yeah.
My aunt goes, just to make it short, my aunt is telling him, like, listen, we don't need nothing from you. We just want confirmation of biology, not because we need it, because we already know that you're her father, but because you're denying it and you the one who need it. So let's do the confirmation of biology. That's all we want. He's like, several women have said the story to me already, and I've already been through the situation. I actually got close to somebody and they said their son was mine and it turned out not to be. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
I was just about to say, but what
that ain't got nothing to do with me?
This situation, you know what
That
I'm
has
saying?
nothing to do with the situation.
Okay.
And after this, the conversation, they go into more detail, but basically he's talking a whole lot of nothing because he's one of those type of people, just chatting.
Talking in circles.
Yeah, running in circles, basically. Like, if you go back to my TikTok, you see that I talk about how his mother had a conversation with my mom, and she's basically saying, like, he's doing the same thing that his father did to him, to your child. So he goes to tell my aunt, like, my father was in my life. I don't know what you telling your niece, but my father was in my life. So he's basically trying to prove a point on that. Whatever. Yeah. My aunt is still just like, we just want confirmation of biology. That's all we want.
And I know this has nothing to do with you, but it's just like, did he have a situation going on and then was messing with your mom? Like, I'm just trying to figure out why he's so...
I think he did. But because when my mom spoke to his mother, my mother sent pictures of me to his mother's address. She never heard anything. She tried calling the phone number back and the lady picked up the phone and said, oh, well, not even called back. She paged it. She kept paging his number and a woman called my mother back. It was like, you keep paging my fiance's number. If you go on my TikTok, you see all of this. Like, it's a constant play trying to get to him and make him acknowledge or even take accountability for something. Like, my whole part of the story is just like, if it's not true, why not just do a test to prove that it's not true? That's the simplest thing you can possibly do. I will pay for the test. Like, that's the simplest thing you could possibly do. I ain't looking for nothing. I'm not looking for more than what I'm owed. This is what I'm owed. Why can't I know my family? Why can't I know my grandfather, my grandmother, my siblings? Yeah. I'm just walking around here only knowing one side of the story. Yeah. And it's always three sides. It's gonna be my mom's side, his side, and the truth.
Talk about
so I'm just going off of what I'm being told.
Right.
And you're not, and my whole thing is like, you're not even trying to talk to me. They're not trying to have a civilized conversation with me. It's one thing to say like, yo, let's go out. Let's figure it out. Let's have a phone call. Let's have a good phone call. Let's go take this paternity test. It's one thing for you to do that, but you're not trying to do none of that. You're completely ignoring me like I don't even exist.
Yeah.
Like,
it's got to be hurtful, like to just see you flourish, living your life, buying this, wearing that, going here, going there.
I have 2 degrees. I ain't pressed. And I feel like that's another thing is like, I don't know how many women is hitting him up saying, oh, this is my alleged baby father and trying to get money from him. I'm past that in my life.
Yeah.
There was a time in my life, my mother was trying to get child support, but these people could never find him because he was dealing with legalities in a different state.
Yeah.
And if you're familiar with his story, you already know what I'm talking about without me saying.
Yeah. I feel you. But even like touching back to about the whole sibling question that I asked, like, have you connected with your, I guess, half siblings or his kids or put pictures together or like?
Me and his daughter do look alike a little bit. I tried reaching out to her. I haven't really gotten a response. We actually seen each other in person last weekend, and it was completely awkward. Didn't say anything. She knows who I am. I literally, yeah, because I've written her, so she has to know who I am. Right. But I'm blocked. So I'm blocked from everybody's Instagram. His Instagram, his daughter's Instagram. He has a son. I haven't tried to reach out to him. He's young. I don't want to. His kids have nothing to do with this. And it's like, I shouldn't have to go to your children. You're alive and well. You're alive and well. I don't want you to wait till you need a kidney and you trying to come and look for me. No, because you ain't getting that kidney, Papa. You're not. I'm making that clear now.
Are you a mother right now? Like,
I'm not.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because I was about to say, if you granddaddying it up, like, you don't need to be acting up.
You're a whole grandpa out here and acting like a child.
But what if you do want to, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure we're both age, so I'm sure you might have thought about kids and thought about like,
yeah, okay. Of course. I think about this all the time, and it's unfortunate that the situation is what it is now because I can't speak to the future. I can't speak for the future. But as of now, my kids will not have a grandfather from my side. Like meaning my parents, they won't have a grandfather because this person is being the way that he is towards the situation.
So what if he like never reaches out to you or continues to just ignore you? Like, are you going to be comfortable with that? Are you going to come to a place of healing where you're going to be like, you know what, it's cool?
I have already reached this point in my life where I'm okay. I'm okay with him not acknowledging me. I'm okay with him living his life as he's continuing to live his life, as if I don't exist. I am very okay with that. I mean, it's sad to say, like, damn, but I'm okay with that. I've reached that level, spiritual level within myself to know that this has nothing to do with me. It has to be something going on with him internally that he's projecting on me in this situation, so he cannot deal with the outcome of everything has been going on. And it's like, I've made several attempts. I made attempts up until last year to talk to him. 2019, I had wrote him on Instagram. I was like, basically saying like, this time I'm not going anywhere. You lived your life all these years and I haven't bothered you. I'm not going anywhere this time. I'm going to be around. I'm still going to try to reach out to you. That's December 2019 is when I write him that basically. 3 months later, he takes he puts on his story that he's somewhere getting a pedicure. And I'm like, why you don't got no hair in your legs? Because this is a grown man with his legs is bald. I'm like, why you don't got no hair in your legs? You know, this man writes me back and said it doesn't grow. So you picking and choosing when you don't want to respond to me. Like, what?
I'm just trying to understand. I'm not trying to like, give you like a stale face, but I'm just trying to
you're trying to comprehend with the situation.
Yeah, because it's just kind of like, why would you respond to your
why would you respond exactly
and like say, oh, my hair doesn't grow, but you don't want to have a conversation about why you weren't really in why he wasn't in your life. I just think that's a little strange.
And if you go on my TikTok, you see I have receipts for everything. Everything from the child support to the addresses matching for everything.
You do have receipts. Receipts will be up on the screen. This is ridiculous. And I think it's like really, really sad because you're not the first person going through it. It's just your dad just happens to be a public figure. So it's just really unfortunate.
Because exactly. And if he wasn't a public figure, I would still be talking about the situation because there's no reason why most people, like, I'm the type of person to just put my tail in between my legs and shut up. Just don't say nothing because sometimes it's just not worth it. But it's like, I've gone all this time without saying anything whatsoever. Remind you, we tried to reconnect 3 years ago. It's 2021 now. And I still haven't said anything up until now. But and it was only because it was just weighing on my heart so much. And me and my family's talking about it. My brother, he's a big advocate for me. He's like, you need to just tell your story. This is your story. Nobody can try to change the narrative and say this didn't happen. This is your story.
Right.
It's like I said, it's different if it was a man coming to him saying, yo, bro, we look just alike. You got to be my father. I'm a whole woman with your face, bro.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
Come on. Like, I'm a whole woman with your face.
Y'all look just alike. I'm gonna like wrap it up, but I just got like a few more questions.
That's fine.
One, what do you have to say for anyone who might think, it's like a social media base and this is gonna hit the internet. So what do you feel like for people who might say you're doing it for clout?
I am spiritually okay for people having their own opinions. That's what I have to say. Like, you are entitled to your own opinion. You are going to feel the way you feel, but this is my story. You can't change that. The internet is a place for a whole lot of people to say a whole lot of nothing and a whole lot of something, and I'm okay with that. I'm very calm. I'm not trying to cuss out the trolls. I don't care. I don't.
Yeah.
I really don't. Remember, I want people to understand that if it never got to this point, you would never know about me. If it was 3 years ago and he would have been like, all right, let's take a test, you would never know about me. I would have probably just been like, all right, I did the test and my father was okay with the way I came to him. But it didn't work out like that. And now, like I said, I got time. I was in school for 6 years, getting my degrees, and I didn't want to really put my energy into the situation because this is a lot. I even had to take a 2-day break off of TikTok from telling my story because it's like playing this over in your head consistently is mentally draining for somebody because I'm living this. This is not something that I just wrote one day and was like, oh, this sounds like a good story. This is my real life.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. I know there's gonna be people who's gonna say that. Definitely.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one last question. So what message do you have for him? Like if he's listening, if you had something to tell him right now, like what would you say to him?
Let's do a test. I'm not yours. Let's do a test. If I'm not yours, you're the one who believes that I'm not yours. So let's do a test.
Yeah.
I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it. Like it's so many websites, so many LabCorp, so many franchises that deals with this situation. Let's do it. Let's do the test because that's your biggest thing is that I'm not yours and I'm telling a whole lie and you don't know who told me the story and why I believe them and do you look like a man who doesn't take care of your kids. So let's do the test. Period. Exactly.
Again, we're with you. We stand by you. We're so honored that you just came to us and with this information and with this story. I'm sure it's been traumatic, and I just hope that I gave you a safe space for you to tell your story and tell your narrative. And that's so bold. We stand by you and we support you, girl. We hope the truth and justice happens.
Thank you.